Let's go, let's go. Yay! Color. I did give it away. Hi there, I'm Gail Sibley and you're watching How to Pastel, the place to be to learn all about tips and techniques and everything to do with the world of soft pastel. Now, if you are preparing to travel and you're having trouble choosing a color palette, well, this Q&A is for you because that is the subject of today. Before we go any further, if you want more videos like this, please subscribe and click that little bell because you'll get notified every time I release a new video. Today's question comes from Barbara. And Barbara writes, "Hello Gail, I am a faithful follower of your How to Pastel blog. Fantastic. I'm going to Tuscany in a couple of weeks to paint with a group, and knowing you are going to teach a workshop in Tuscany soon, I wondered if you might share a suggested color palette for painting in Tuscany with soft pastels. Thank you in advance, Barbara." That is such a great question, Barbara, because I know a lot of people struggle with the idea of what colors to choose when they are traveling. And certainly, you know, each location in the world will have a different feel, a different color sense. For instance, Tuscany compared to, I don't know, the desert, going to the north of Canada with lots of green trees and water. So every location has its own color feeling. So here is my answer for choosing a color palette for traveling. I don't choose a color palette. So instead, I just take the box of pastels that I have for using en plein air. It goes everywhere with me when I travel. And if I am not actually teaching, and so that means I don't have to necessarily take an easel with me, I'll use an even smaller box, and quite often I use the brands, the starter sets of different brands. And primarily I do that because, you know, I'm making these kind of videos with limited palettes. I would say don't choose a color palette. The main thing is to have a range of colors in the three main values. So you'll have lights, middle values, and of course dark values. So those three. And then thinking about the colors, think about the color wheel. So you want to make sure you have some primaries, reds, blues, yellows, and the secondaries, oranges, greens, and purples. And also, you know, include a few neutral colors, sort of less intense colors, and always have the colors you love, the ones that you always want to go and pick up. So for me, for instance, I love fuchsia, and so I'm always trying to have some of those kind of really bright pinks in my set. So now let's have a look at the palette that I use when I'm painting en plein air. Okay, so there's the full view of the palette. You'll see on the left-hand side that I have an empty spot. That's where I put the pastels that I'm using for the specific piece. And there you have in the middle, those are pastels primarily from the Sennelier set, the half stick set of 40. And just at the bottom are some extra unison pastels, some of the colors I really like. And over on the left, there's a sort of odds and ends of things I do and don't use. I use the pencil or the Vine charcoal for drawing up things, and it's just I don't know, it's just odds and ends, which I need to work on probably. But the main thing is over on the right. You have three sections. The darks are on the left, the middle values in the middle, and the lights on the right-hand side. And you can sort of see that I kind of keep my warms, my reds and yellows and oranges at the top, and then more of the cool colors, the greens, the blues, purples at the bottom. They're slightly mixed up right now, having come off a plein air painting, but you sort of get the gist of how I organize my pastels. You know, when you are on location, whether it's a cityscape, a seascape, a landscape, or even an interior and you're painting a still life, you will always not have a right color. There will be at some point, I wish I had that color. You look in your palette and it's not there. It's not like paints where we can mix up that exact color. We deal with what we have. It's not about copying exactly what's out there. It's about bringing your vision and your artistic expression and your response to the scene to a painting. And having a limited palette, having that restriction, will explode the possibilities, and it will take you places that you didn't even think you would go. Think of the limited palette as a benefit. It's an opportunity for you to explore and create something that you've never done before. So save yourself the stress and anxiety about choosing a color palette for traveling. Just take what you have and work with it. Because inevitably, if you choose specific colors, thinking about, the location you're going to, you will for sure not have all the right colors. So I would just say, take the palette you have and go with it. I hope that helps. I hope that helps you, Barbara, with your question. And now I would love to hear from you. Do you choose a specific color palette for when you're traveling? Or do you do as I do and just take the palette you have and run by the seat of your pants and hope, and know, not hope, and know that it will all work out? Please leave me a comment below because I would love to hear from you. Now, as you know, the deeper, more animated discussions go on over at How to Pastel, so pop on over there and have a look at the blog that will go along with this. And while you're there, why not subscribe? Have you subscribed yet? Why not? Go do it. Because I send out information all about pastels and I have guest bloggers. I hope if you like this video that you'll share it and click that like button. In the meantime, keep painting. Let your heart and soul sing. You have a unique vision. So paint it and share it with the world. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. This is number 3. It's going to be perfect. It's going to be perfect. I need these. I need these. Help and yeah. A lot of